I move for no man, no man, no man, no man, no man.
We'll call it a draw. Just a flesh wound, just a flesh wound, just a flesh wound, just a flesh wound, just a
Rise and shine, Chris.
That is not part of the plan. I'm not shining right now.
The early bird catches the worm. Why were you on a Zoom call for like 4 hours?
I do that twice a week, every week, dude.
Is that like talking about the fights?
Yeah, it's fighter meetings. So we obviously we're not on location, so we do fighter meetings and we get them all for 15, 30-minute blocks, 8 to 10 fighters, back to back to back. So there's like 20 of us on the calls, like Tim Bradley, Andre Ward, Bernardo Osuna, all the ESPN broadcast crew, and then the fighters and their teams come in.
What do they like brief you on everything that's going on?
So we get these really stacked biographies on each fighter a couple days before. So we have to know kind of their background. We get their records, and then I like to watch the fights like the day of the fight, like their past fights. And we just interview and take notes. I got pages and pages of notes for each show, and we've been doing this twice a week, so it's been like super hectic. But my ass hurts from sitting.
You need a comfier seat.
I've never worked a 9 to 5. I can't imagine how people do that.
Well, you're not really working a 9 to 5, but you're doing of the stuff.
Not even close. But I'm sitting for like 4 hours, and I don't know how people can do that for 8.
It's working like a 9
or whatever.
like a 9 to 12. You know.
Yeah.
9 to 1.
Still really hard.
You build up calluses in your ass. It'll be fine.
Fuck that. I
In
got
your
a bony
ass?
ass.
I don't know if that's accurate. On your ass,
From
maybe.
doing other things.
I don't know if you get calluses in your butthole. I'm pretty sure that's a fact. That's why it bleeds so much. I don't think the skin gets any tougher.
Gary, you got another match, man.
I do.
It's funny all the memes that people are making. You versus like a whole bunch of like random people.
Yeah.
Ron Jeremy was my favorite. I feel like he would submit you real quick.
Ron Jeremy is in jail right now. I'm pretty sure.
For like tax evasion?
No, like rape charges and sexual harassment and stuff like that. You know.
Are you making that up or is that?
No, that's like a real thing. He's definitely going.
He doesn't need to rape chicks. He's a porn star. Like what?
Yeah, but the Me Too movement wasn't good for him. Like he was like always really sexual in like public events and shit. You go to parties and just like take his dick out and put it in your drink.
Yeah. I bet it was.
You can't do that anymore.
It was really hard when the new wave of porn stars starting emerging with like a 6-pack, fucking shaved down,
well, I
looking
think that
all
was his
swole.
shtick. His shtick was he was like the regular dude,
like a slob.
Like he was like, he was the regular guy. He was like the everyman. I think that's why.
Yeah, I feel like I would
I
would root for him more than, these dudes that are fucking swole. Just this slob of a man with a huge dick, just slinging it. Just, there's something about that. He's
something about that just makes you feel special.
Yeah.
Inside and out.
He's a working class man. I like it. Chris, how funny was that Asian dude? He was Japanese, right?
Oh yeah, the winning Japan guy. He is something else. Dude, going in there. So he has pretty serious Alzheimer's, and like he'll say it. He's like, oh, my Alzheimer's is kicking in really hard today or whatever. He's like, don't call me. He's like, I don't. Because he doesn't remember it. So he's like, you have to email him, and when you're literally talking to him, he's taking notes, and he's like, write your name, write your email, and he's taking notes on who you are. He's like, you fought Pacquiao and Ruslan, and I was just like going through it, and then he went off on a tangent about money because he's like really difficult to get a hold of and like order gloves through. He's like, I don't like money. Money makes me mad.
So how does
Hilarious.
winning feel about someone distributing their products that's like so hard to locate?
Well, he does like all their custom orders, like anything you order, like to put your name on it, like the embroidery and stuff like that. He does all that. I think he's their only rep in the U.S. Like it's like one dude. He's in a room smaller than the room I'm in right now. Him and his wife. They're close to 80, and they handle everything. It's wild.
Do they sell a lot of gloves?
Ton. Yeah.
I've never heard of that brand. Winning?
Winning. Yeah. That's like.
Have you heard of that
that's
brand,
the
Gary?
top tier.
Yeah, it's pretty much like what's considered to be like relatively the gold standard. I mean, maybe like, Grant's also like a big one. But like Winning is like what most people talk about as like, probably the most comfortable glove.
So
it's really good for people with hand problems. Like the padding is great.
So gloves like brands like Everlast, they're like they suck, Chris?
Quality wise, yeah, they're not up to par. Like Grant, everything is like handmade in Mexico. Like Japan, Winning is like the Japanese version, and their technology is probably the best. So, and then like even a Reyes, handmade, like really good solid leather. Everlast is just kind of American fast turnover.
Yep. So now that we're talking about gloves, I was reading some stuff on Tyson Fury. There was like a whole conspiracy theory on the gloves that he used against Wilder. You saw that, Chris, obviously.
Yeah, I think
What do
they
you
were
think
saying
of that?
like he didn't have his hand all the way in the glove, and it would like add a couple
It
extra
had like
inches
some
or whatever.
wrinkles.
Yeah, well, he was like throwing his hook, and his glove would it looked like his hand was bending like backwards, but obviously that's just his glove was hanging off a little bit.
Well, I also saw that in the clinch, there were some wrinkles to his glove. Kind of looked like his knuckles were right there, but not sure.
Yeah. Well, if I think about it, if the glove is hanging off here a little bit, like this is all gonna be loose.
Yeah.
So he'd be grabbing like a different part. It looks very strange.
So there were a couple of pro fighters that were saying that that's not normal, and then I saw that Ryan Garcia said that those specific gloves do that. So I mean, what do you think? Do you know that brand or not really?
I do. I don't know that it would. I don't know how that would be comfortable or helpful either. Like
I was gonna say I don't think that would be helpful.
No.
Because
at all. Like you're slapping.
Yeah, so if anything, what you would be trying to do is to try to pull the padding off of your knuckles and have your hand as far in the glove as possible so that you have the least padding on your knuckles to try to hit somebody hard. You would, if you have all that space, like sometimes when you spar super light, like that's what people will do is they leave a little space in front of the glove so they could just tap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that my whole point was like, why that doesn't really have any advantage to it.
Chris, are you getting good training over there?
Yeah, I have been.
You're not sparring, right?
So I haven't been sparring.
Okay. I saw that post that you posted. I'm like, let me see if Chris is doing something stupid and still sparring.
No, I'm looking. Once I go back to New York, I think I'm probably gonna get some sparring in. So I got guys like in the gym. About that time, I miss punching people in the face.
How long has it been since the last time you sparred?
March. Yeah, about the last time I got a haircut.
That's why he's hiding his hair. Chris, what's going on, man? You're just letting go, dude. I don't like this version of you. I'm used
training
to seeing
hard.
You all nice and proper, and now you're like just letting go, man.
Well, today was I slept like 4 hours last night. I'm just like, I was like, oh, I'll just sleep in. I was like, oh shit, I got the podcast. Like, fuck. All right, I guess I'm not sleeping tonight.
I think he's just being generous and nice to us today, so that he doesn't have to embarrass us with his beautiful looks as he usually does. Got to give us a day every once in a while where he, kind of.
Right every few weeks, so let you guys have it. Frankie's looking very, very proper today.
His hair's kind of blowing in the wind a little bit,
On point.
Took a picture of him that I posted that he was embarrassed about. He looked all
Bro,
beat
this
up.
guy.
He's gonna.
Chris probably took like 10 screenshots, and he's like, which one is the worst screenshot that I could find to make this guy look like a fool?
Well, I did what we all do. You'll take 5 shots, and you take the one where you look the best, and I don't even take into account you guys. Just like, oh, I look good there. You guys might look good, you might look bad, but that one you didn't look good.
So what do you call that? That what you have in your head? Is that like a do-rag with tie-dye? I've never seen one.
No, it's actually just a bandana. It's just the way that I tied it. Okay. Yeah, it's just a regular bandana. It's my Bob Marley bandana.
Gary,
Yeah.
Have you heard anything from one? Have you heard anything
Yeah,
back?
I just actually texted them before. They said, so here, I'll just pull it up as well.
Who do you text?
Literally read it verbatim. Chatri.
Oh, you'd like talk directly to the boss man.
Yeah. It's just easier that way. So he said to me, hey man, we've announced 10 events over the next 12 weeks, but borders remain closed. So cards will be mostly local, with foreigners who live in those countries, working with multiple governments to open borders for our athletes. He says we'll have some more news sometime soon. And we'll do the stadium, audience free events. And then he said, stay in 70% condition with a quick 3 to 4 week ramp up to 100% if we give you the call. And I'm like, all right, sounds good, bro. So, I mean, I'm always sparring anyway.
Okay.
So I just took 2 weeks off because I was obviously out in Abu Dhabi, but it was kind of hard to spar there because we had I don't know, maybe 4 little mats in the training room, even when we did finally have a training room. So, I mean, that would have been kind of tough. I did some pads while I was out there with Jamie, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, tell you what.
The same as sparring. Nothing's like sparring.
I'm gonna help you out, Gary. I'm gonna play manager now. This is what you're gonna text him back. Go. I can do 50%, not 70. And then go like this. I'm gonna need an advance on my next match, ASAP.
Need an advance.
What?
I'd like my money.
Why are you not taking me seriously?
I'd like my money for my next 6 fights up front, and we're just gonna assume that I won. So I'd like.
So we'll tear them up.
I want the show money and the win money now.
I hear Drake say it on his songs. Why can't fucking Gary do it?
I know, man. It's a mess.
My first couple of big fights, I got advances on all of them because I was so goddamn broke. I couldn't pay for my training. So
but
I would have them.
They did that for you though.
Yeah, because they take it off the top of what they owe you. So as long as you don't get hurt.
Okay. Sick.
As long as the fight happens. Yeah.
So what happens?
I mean, you had.
So wait, what happens if you do get hurt and the fight doesn't happen and they paid you?
You got to pay them back.
Oh boy.
Literally, we had a side contract for that.
Oh shit.
You never heard of Chris's story after the Pacquiao fight, Gary?
Which one? I mean, I've heard of many stories about.
Yeah, he went on a bender, and he spent all his money on cocaine and hookers, and now they use him as a cautionary tale in the locker room.
Guys, don't do what this guy did.
Listen, man.
You're gonna be taking upfronts on all your fights.
You gotta celebrate life every once in a while, man. Don't just go for broke and literally go too broke. And then you have some stories to tell at the end. It's going to be a good time.
World champion. I had to have some fun.
Falling on hard times. Look at him now. He's like on this podcast with us.
I've hit my low.
Rock bottom.
Oh, we're happy to be your rock bottom, Frank. We're happy to be your rock.
Well, me too.
I think other people like it
Yeah,
too.
you too,
Apparently, Frankie. Apparently, people are downloading, huh?
Yeah.
Getting some numbers up.
In your face, Chris.
I feel like Frankie just lies to us about the numbers to get us back on the phone. He's like, the numbers are rising.
Numbers are rising, and you guys don't know. It's like it bumps from 2 listeners to 3.
Yeah, he's like we had a 70% rise since last week.
No, man, I'm gonna send you some analytics. I'm not gassing you up.
No, I've had more and more people DM me about the show, so apparently it is going well.
When I looked at the analytics, I actually went onto both of your stories to see if it might have been you posting something, but it wasn't. It's
just word of mouth. People are like, wow, these guys are good.
That's real good. The new young guns in the podcast block. Dude, do you guys?
I wonder what genre do we fall under? What is our umbrella?
Maybe we should probably talk about fights.
I don't know.
Whatever. I have no idea. What?
Everybody's like, hey, how's your podcast going? Like, you have a podcast now, right? I'm like, yeah. They're like, so what do you guys talk about? It's like fight, nutrition, like training. I'm like, no.
Fighting and fucking.
I'm like, it's fun. We bullshit for an hour. They're like, oh, I'll give it a check. I'll check it out. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, that guy gave you a hard pass.
He's like, basically
Like,
playing grab ass for an hour. Yeah.
dude,
Come
your
check it
friend
out.
lit up. He's like, oh, nutrition or fighting? He was like, nah.
I've had some professionals ask me too. They're like, oh, I heard you had a podcast, like Harvey Dock, a referee, a really like well-known referee in boxing. He's like, oh, Chris, I heard you had a podcast. I'm like, yeah.
Chris like doesn't even say it. He's like, yeah, not really. Hang out.
Yeah.
I had this one chick that has like a PhD in like nutrition and a whole bunch of stuff in the paleo community. She's like kind of a big deal, and she saw one of my clips, and she's like, oh, you got a podcast now, and she's like, I'm gonna listen to your last episode, and I'm like, you're probably not gonna want to do that. It was like us talking about the whole ATM, the ass to mouth episode with
Yeah. Nice. Which I think is paleo. I think that actually is paleo.
It's definitely
That's a
paleo.
move.
Definitely. I mean, it depends. It actually depends, though. I think that the ass to mouth is paleo so long as the person that you're eating isn't like a vegetarian. Because if they're a vegetarian, then their waste products are vegetarian. You know what I mean?
So they have to be an omnivore.
Dude, do you guys follow The Rock?
Yeah.
I don't know if I actually follow him, but I mean.
Chris, you love doing recipes. Have you seen all his tequila recipes?
I have. People keep sending them to me.
Dude, the guys, he puts tequila on everything. He's like trying to make everybody an alcoholic, and I'm just here like trying to mimic some of his recipes.
And Frankie's following
I'm
all
like, dude, it's like
double
it's
the amount of tequila.
There's no way I'm putting tequila on a Tuesday morning on my pancakes.
That actually sounds delicious.
Huh.
I feel like you could put, because with the syrup and the tequila, like I think you could make like drunken pancakes, and that would probably. I'm gonna make some. I'm gonna tell you.
Pancakes,
I mean, you could probably do that on the weekend.
Soak that right up.
Yeah, I feel like that could totally spiral out of control. It could become a problem.
When I cook meat, I pretty much exclusively use Jack Daniels to cook it.
Really?
Yeah.
Good flavor.
Yeah, it's nice flavor.
The alcohol evaporates, right? Though, right?
Yeah.
Chris?
I intentionally use it to like help cook the steak a little bit faster. I'll put like a cover on the top of the steak, a little bit of Jack Daniels in the bottom, so it's kind of boils through.
Yeah, but Jack Daniels has a lot of flavor, so like that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So you don't actually get any alcohol content.
No,
I'm sure a little bit. Not like a
it
crazy.
burns off because it's alcohol's so combustible. So as soon as it hits a certain its burning point is very low. So when you cook it at any kind of temperature, it's going to burn off.
Yeah. So
that's why it's so good in fruit, because you don't cook fruit. It goes right in and stays in.
You know which one's a really good recipe that The Rock has in his Instagram? Tequila and watermelon juice. It's like tequila, watermelon juice, and lime, and some agave syrup. Man.
Simple.
It's fucking delicious. It's got to be.
Water and dehydrate.
It's got to be white tequila though, silver. So the flavor is more fruity.
Is that a rope tied to a lamp that we see over there? You had somebody tied to the lamp.
Chris is getting his freaky deaky on.
Chris, is that a rope that I see tied to the lamp behind you? You have somebody tied up to the bed over there?
I'm glad I moved the swing over. You can't see that.
Don't ask, don't tell.
Eyewitness News, where news comes first.
Did you guys see the whole Kanye West bipolar episode?
Which one?
I had people seriously asking me if he was running for president. I'm like, no, he's not. He's not going to be able to. Well, he tried.
He's trying, but
he can't.
Apparently, he had like a really low reception, or like he had really low votes on his ballot for. I think you have to run for something before you actually get into like the race.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not very versed on that shit, but anyways, he had a campaign rally in South Carolina, and he had a little bit of a, he goes off on tangents.
Yeah.
So he went on saying that Harriet Tubman didn't free the slaves, right? That was the first thing he did. And then he was talking about that he was going to be aborted because his dad didn't want him.
He's right. Harriet Tubman didn't free the slaves.
Well,
Do people think that?
He said that she relocated the slaves or some shit like that.
I mean, she's part of the movement, I guess, but.
Well, she's part. I think he was basically not recognizing that she did anything for the slaves.
Okay.
He's like, Harriet Tubman.
Gotcha.
Harriet Tubman didn't free the slaves. She relocated them. Okay. And then
hasn't he been institutionalized? I'm pretty sure if you've been like in a mental hospital, you can't run for anything.
Okay, listen to this. Listen to this. So then he broke down saying that he was going to be aborted because his dad didn't want him, and that his mom saved his life, and that he was going to have an abortion with Kim, and Kim didn't let it happen. And he's like, I was going to kill my daughter. I was going to kill her. Bro, and it was really sad to see. And then Kim tried to go get him with a doctor to commit him in a mental hospital. I guess he like hid from her and said that he was in the movie Get Out.
The last time he did that, like it wasn't a good thing for him. You've heard him talk about that?
About taking pills?
Yeah, he like went to a mental institution or something and they just fucking drugged the shit out of him and he was like, dude, like I didn't fucking know where I was. Like it wasn't a good thing.
Yeah. I heard something about. Yeah, I heard him talking about that.
I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't particularly interested in going back.
So he went on Twitter to talk to his family about not coming to get him. Then he's like asking Kris Jenner, which is the mom, to pick up the phone, like through Twitter. He's like, pick up the phone. And then he's like, Kim is trying to do me like the Get Out movie. and then he went on another Twitter tirade saying that Kris Jenner, the mom, the mastermind, which they always say is the mastermind behind all the Kardashians.
Yeah.
That she pushed Kim to do Playboy, and that's the one that's pushed Kim to do all the crazy shit she's done. And then he went on to like say that Shia LaBeouf didn't show up to a photo shoot, and then he went on to saying that Anna Wintour wasn't backing him on that she was like brown nosing him, and then she wasn't backing him for the whole Gap Yeezy campaign. I feel he's off the rails. He's off the rails.
Yeah.
I hope it's actually all just one big troll and it's completely pre-planned.
That'd be pretty brilliant. But I think he actually might be nuts.
Yo, how funny would it be if he went on Twitter and said, "My bad, my kid was using my phone."
What is he, Trump? He's gonna pull a Trump? I was kidding. I didn't mean that.
We do that stuff all the time with Tom and John and Gordon. Like we'll post something insane and then we'll just be like, oh yeah, Gordon stole our phone.
Haha, I was just fooling y'all.
We've faked Tom's death, I think like 8 times now on social media, and every single time people like. There's not a single time we do it where people aren't like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Really? Like, what do you mean? Like, you guys each post like R.I.P. Tom?
Exactly. We'll all make like super, emotional posts about Tom dying, and then people will believe it. So
you guys are fucking brutal.
You guys are assholes.
But it's like, why wouldn't
like
they believe it? You're the closest guys to them.
Yeah, it's great. It's a good time. I remember the one time Gordon did it, and he's like, I'm really sorry that, Tom passed, but I'm going to take really good care of his wife.
Oh, what a dick. What a dick.
Oh, it's so good.
He's like, I'm going to give her everything Tom didn't give her.
Yes, exactly.
Did you guys see that Jamie Foxx is going to play Mike Tyson in the new biopic?
I heard about that.
So it's supposed to be like
you better put on some mass.
On Mike a little bit later on in life, like old man Mike, like old man Logan.
So like his post boxing career.
Yeah. When he's like in his lowest
put
point.
On some meat though, man. He's got to get yoked.
Well, he was talking about how he is weight training, but they could put on prosthetics or CGI. Dude,
that'll be amazing.
Really?
I would love to see CGI.
Yeah, dude. Nowadays, nowadays they can do wonders
Well,
in
yeah.
Hollywood.
What they've been doing in a lot of movies recently, which I don't know how much I like it, but they do the CGI on the face, right, to make them older or younger.
Yeah.
So instead of hiring like
weird.
other actors,
Yeah,
or
like
actors, they just
that
CGI.
the last Martin Scorsese movie with Robert
Yeah,
De
The
Niro and Al
Irishman.
Pacino. The Irishman. Right?
Irishman.
Right.
That looked terrible. It looked so bad. Like De Niro when they made him look young, they just like smooth out his skin. I'm like,
I didn't mind
this is
it.
Terrible. Get a different actor.
I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it.
Did you watch that whole movie?
I couldn't.
Frank? Did you get through the whole movie?
I tap out at 2 hours in anything.
I didn't see it.
Pretty much.
I heard, everybody wanted to see it. And
Gary, it's 6 fucking hours. It's 6
6
hours. long.
hours?
Yeah.
That's so long, and it's just one movie.
Yeah.
It's not 6 hours.
Jesus.
like-
bro, it's
Close to 4, I think.
I think it's more than that.
Even 4. That's like
I
Yeah.
think
impressive, man.
like 12.
That's a big ask. It's a
Yeah.
big ask. You have to
Agree.
commit, dog. That's a commitment.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
No, I tried, man. I gave it a.
Anything over 2 hours better be fucking action packed, man.
It's
Yeah.
it's 3.5. It just feels like 6.
Jesus.
But still, 3.5 is insane. That's 2
Yeah.
movies.
It's a long time.
So I don't know about y'all, but I think Jamie Foxx is gonna kill it.
He always kills. He kills everything. He's
He's
one of the
super
best actors
talented.
of our generation.
I think he's
ridiculous.
one of the most talented human beings in
That
Hollywood.
too. He can sing, play music, act.
He's funny as shit. His stand-up is hilarious.
Hilarious. Do you guys remember In Living Color? Like, is this? Are
Fuck
you,
yeah.
Yeah, you're old enough for that. I don't know if Gary is. In Living Color.
I
That
didn't
was
watch
like, dude. That's where Jim Carrey started out. That's where J Lo started out. That's where the Wayans brothers started out. Like, it's crazy the amount of talent that came out of that.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you. What about the Jamie Foxx show?
Jamie Foxx show was good. It was
Dude,
good.
I
Wasn't
thought
Living
that
Color
show was
level.
hilarious with the big black dude that looked like a yoke, Carlston Braxton, that he acted white. You guys don't remember Braxton?
I don't remember that.
Okay.
I didn't really watch that show like that.
One of the best scenes in any show that I've ever seen is when Jamie and Braxton have a dance-off in the apartment. That's got to be like one of the greatest pieces of cinematic history that I've ever seen.
I guess this is gonna have to be our homework for next podcast.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
send it to you guys.
You just send it to me because I'm gonna have
Dude,
trouble finding it.
So in Missouri,
Good
there
old
was this-
Missouri.
in the Missouri,
Missouri.
these 2 African American dudes in an SUV saw a 12-year-old kid dancing in a street corner with his friends. So he was kind of like doing some pop and lock. I guess he was doing like some TikTok
Mm.
moves.
I'm sure it looked just like that.
Yeah, that's what they do. They
Just for the listeners that aren't going to be viewing this, Frankie made a poor imitation of pop, lock, and drop it.
listen. You're supposed to go like hard, and then you, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
then you
Okay.
freeze.
Okay.
You do something really hard, and then you freeze.
Now his hands are just arbitrarily waving back and forth.
You guys, you're not.
I think
on
Frankie
TikTok.
might be
That's
seizing
what-
right now.
Listen,
my
Call
listen,
the police.
listen, I'm gonna give you a pass on this, Gary, since you're not on TikTok. So
Oh,
worry
I
about
am
it.
on TikTok. I just haven't posted a video in 6 months.
you,
I story posted you guys like 10 minutes ago, and Frankie just nailed my caption. Thank you. I don't like. I was
Fuck
telling the
you,
future
Chris.
apparently.
I hate you.
Definitely
So
telling the future.
okay, so this kid was pop and locking, and the guys in the SUV like stopped the car in the middle of a street. The guy in the passenger side got out and sucker punched him in the back, in like the back of his head, and this kid like
Yeah.
fell down, KO'd.
Still playing the knockout game, I see.
But then the guy he didn't have to, but I guess a street camera caught the plates and everything, and so he turned himself in, his
Well,
facing.
Maybe he was
Ass-
dancing on
assault?
the wrong corner. Maybe that wasn't his corner to dance on. Maybe that was somebody else's dance corner. You know what I mean? Can't intrude on somebody else's spot. This is super important.
This is
There's
true.
territories now, man. These homeless
Did you-
OPP, baby. OPP.
Did you hear the part where I said it was dancing?
Yeah. Wait, what? I'm so confused.
The kid was dancing, not selling drugs, Gary.
Yeah, I know. This is what I'm saying. Maybe it was the wrong corner to dance on. This is like, they have territory, man. Maybe there was somebody else dancing on the next corner, and it's too close to his dance corner.
There are
You know what I'm
there are
saying?
parts parts in America where two crews cannot dance
This
in the
is
same block.
exactly, bro.
Shit will go down.
Saying.
What were those
Gotcha.
old timey gangs called where they would like sing and dance? They would wear like all leather jackets, like they'd match. Like this is old, like in the '60s or something, like Elvis style stuff.
Like the Breakers.
I don't know. They would like sit there and they'd sing on the corner and dance, but they were like gangs.
Oh, are you talking about the musical?
Yeah.
What is
Like
it called?
back in the day.
The Sharks and
Yeah.
Side Story?
You know what I'm.
Dude,
What's
you're talking about
I don't know if that was
the
a
John
real thing. I don't know
Travolta
if it was
movie.
a
The
real-
John Travolta movie.
I don't know.
Grease.
I don't know.
Yeah,
if, like,
yeah, basically.
I don't know if those were actually existent human beings. I think that was just a movie and like
I think Chris saw
like a
musical
theater
and it's
performance.
just regurgitating the musical.
Well, actually, I saw it on Always Sunny. Like,
Huh?
I
see.
they were on. Frank was like hanging out with a bunch of like old guys, and they were all wearing matching leather coats. And someone came up and was like, "Hey, can you sing us a song?" And Mac was like, "You don't sing songs. We're like tough street gang." And Frank's like, "No, we sing a song. Yeah, we got a song. You ready, guys? 1, 2, 3." And they start singing.
It's amazing.
He's like, "Sure, yeah, of course you sing."
Wow.
That show is funny.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Dude,
So
talking
great.
about TikTok, the U.S. government is evaluating the ban of TikTok due to national security.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
They believe that the Chinese-owned app is a threat to American citizens' private information. And now, all the millionaire TikTokers are scared and don't know what they're going to do with their lives. They're going to have
On
to
to the next app.
relocate. It's crazy. Have you seen how there's a bunch of TikTokers that all live in $1 million homes in LA? That's actually a thing. They rally around and they all move into a mansion
Like they-
and just
Like they
they're
live together.
they live together. Yeah.
It's like Logan Paul kind of started that. Like he got that big ass place and like a bunch
Yeah,
of
but
those
it's his
fucking guys.
house.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So this is obviously, but he set the tone for it.
I think so. Yeah, dude, Logan is like a trendsetter. He's set the bar for that shit for all the
He's
social
blazing
media.
that trail.
That guy's got a lot of money. I want to see him fight again.
I don't. You good.
I don't.
So people are trying to get Mark Wahlberg canceled.
Oh yeah. What did he do?
Cancel culture. So when
For
the
waking
murder,
up too early and working out.
yeah, well, dude. So when he tweeted about the George Floyd murder, like saying that it was heartbreaking and that we all have to work together to fix the problem and that he's praying, blah blah blah. Bro, this guy's like sending positive vibes out there, and then you have all these fucking haters rallying around saying that he's in no position to say this because 30 years ago when he was like 15 or 20 years ago, him and his 40 years.
Oh, I heard about this.
when he
I
was
heard about
15,
this.
like,
Yeah.
they were charged for beating up like some black kids and throwing rocks at them, and then for him harassing like
No, I thought they were like Asian. It was like an Asian store.
he also
used
did
to
that.
harass.
He was
Yeah.
harassing a Vietnamese, so some Vietnamese guys while they were like high on drugs. Okay, so he says it was 28 years ago and he's apologized for this like a gazillion times, and he's an avid community service person. What the fuck?
I don't think Mark Wahlberg understands how the society works now. If you did a single thing, no matter how many years ago it was, you're out, bro. That's how they do.
Change. That's the definition of cancel culture. That's what it is.
There is no recovery.
Do you guys feel sorry for someone like Mark Wahlberg, or you're like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I mean, that's the price of fame, whatever.
Yeah, it fucking sucks, man. Stupid.
I wouldn't say I feel sorry for him. He's doing just fine, but yeah, that sucks. Like, especially because he's like you said, Frank, he's trying to put some positivity into the world, and then he's getting attacked for something he did 30 years ago. Which, dude, 3 years ago I was a different person.
I just think we're all shooting ourselves in the foot, man. It's just not necessary. You know, like, why? You're just creating an environment where everybody's going to try to pick each other off, and in the end, we're all going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
People love outrage, man. They like to be outraged. They like to have a reason to lose their shit.
Do you think that we're gonna reach a point where things get so sensitive that it's just gonna like flip on its head?
We're there, bro. We're there. Kids get second place trophies, and you can't
Participation
say what you
badges?
mean. Yeah, we're there. We're there. What's going on with like all this stuff, like
Listen.
the crazy shit that's going on, like Portland or whatever, like taking over, like it's an overcorrection. Everything's going way too far.
California is leading the charge.
Yeah, I mean, well, they were the one who were giving drugs to the homeless shelters, like
Ooh, did
So-
you guys
during
hear,
pandemic.
Speaking of that, did you guys hear about the kid who got like arrested or whatever? It was like he was in like juvie, it's like 16 or something, and to calm him down, they gave him estrogen, and he grew tits, and he's trying to like.
There we
they
go.
didn't tell him like what he was taking or something, and they're trying to sue him.
Who gave him estrogen?
The institution that he was in or whatever, or maybe the juvie or whatever it was. They were giving him estrogen,
This will
And is
show
that
you
like
how.
common practice?
and now he's like oh
was
fuck.
he like a test trial, or is that like common practice? They give
I don't know.
estrogen to like
I don't know if that's
restless individuals.
Should be.
That's ridiculous.
You
That-
look
they
at like
should get sued.
the whole. Even look at the transgender thing, like with the athletes. Like it's been a massive overcorrection, and it's wrong. You're now
Did you-
allowing men to just say that they're women and compete against women and crush.
Did you hear
them.
that episode on Joe Rogan, Chris?
No, I didn't.
Well, you talking about that? So this woman that she's a journalist, she has a book on like how the percent on teenage girls has grown in the transgender society, like them turning to being transgender, just because of like, I don't know, I guess like all the stress and like what they deal with becoming from a teenager to a woman.
Mm-hmm.
She released this book with just a bunch of like stats and stuff. It's not really like her own opinion. It's like a collection of interviews and research, and she's getting huge backlash. But she was on the Joe Rogan podcast talking about this, and they go into that what you're talking about right now on how there's going to come a point where all the great female athletes are going to be pretty much erased from history because
they're going to be
their
biological males.
accomplishments are going to be squashed by men.
I get into arguments with people all the time, mostly women and female athletes, and I'm like, well, no, I'm sorry, not female athletes, because female athletes have competed against or alongside men and realized that there's no competition. You can't say that men and women should compete because you've done it. You've been in gyms with them or you've trained with them, and you're like, guys are just stronger and faster and don't get as tired as we do. Like
The data's there.
No, it's not even data. It's just like experiential. Like if you've been in a gym with a dude and you're even a professional Olympic athlete, you're getting beat by guys who aren't that good. Like because guys are they're just different things. So I get into arguments all the time about like man and women equality in sports. I'm like, no. I'm like, you've never played a sport. You've never tried to do the same thing that another man is doing, and you could be ranked 100 places above that guy and you'll still get beat because guys and girls are different. We can't compete against each other.
Okay, so they were talking about a specific situation, which is how, for example, Serena Williams, there were 200, I think it was Division I tennis players that could beat her. She went against like a couple of them and they beat her.
Yeah.
So they were saying that.
Well, you heard the story about
you heard about
the story about the guy. Yeah. You heard about the story about the guy who was ranked 500th or something like that, and he beat Serena and Venus in the same day while drunk.
I didn't see that.
Dude,
that's pretty crazy.
It's hilarious. He played 18 holes of golf, had a bunch of hard lemonades during Arnold Palmer's before that, came and beat both of them, and it was like not close.
I feel like that's something you would say when you're having drinks with your buddies. I bet I could play a round of golf, get drunk, and beat these two broads.
Well, she said, she's like, I could beat any. She said I can beat any guy in the top something. She said I can beat any guy in the top 100 or top 150, and he was like 300th, and he was like, no, she can't, and he challenged her.
Was this guy from Boston? You don't fucking believe me? Hold my beer.
I don't know. I'll look it up. It's an incredible article. But then
So,
they talked
okay.
about, and also then everyone I argue with is always like, yeah, but what about the women's national soccer team? They're awesome. I'm like, they lose to high school boys when they practice. Like,
So listen to this. So the activists, like the transgender activists are using is more like the philosophical idea of the equality. not the physiological data. So what they're saying is that it's more of like an ideology, equality for everyone, so they have to be allowed to compete.
But it's ruining
Disregarding
sport.
what we're saying right now. Right.
Yeah.
It's ruining sport, but obviously like all these activists aren't, it's not affecting them directly, so they don't have they don't have stakes in it, But it could ultimately, if this keeps going down this rabbit hole, like what happens to the future of women's sports?
If this is the way we decide we're going to conduct ourselves, then we just have unisex sports. There should be no men and women's division in anything. If you're going to decide that on a whim you can decide whether or not you're going to be a man or a woman in a sport, then what's the point of having a division?
No, because they feel like women and men are different, but then if you're a man and wants to be a woman, then you're a woman.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If it's just a simple switch of me saying that's what I want to be, and that's all that's required, then why have divisions? What's the point?
Well, they obviously recognize that women or men are different, but
no, they're not, because I could just say that I'm a woman, so then they're not different. If you're going to claim that we're equal, you can't have it both ways. You got to either decide that we're not equal or decide that we're equal.
Well, they're
Gary,
saying that
you could be the best female jiu-jitsu grappler ever, literally ever.
I'm working on this. I'm growing this hair out just for that reason.
But the great thing is, like, you could literally do that today. Like,
that's true.
You could literally just be like, I'm a woman today, and you're already the best female grappler ever.
I don't know. I think that chick Gabby would give him a run for his money.
Yeah. So.
She would probably beat you in an MMA match.
But she would need to pass a drug test. How about that?
Come on, Chris. You're being unreasonable now. Have you seen her, Chris? Have you seen this chick?
Yes, I know exactly.
Bro.
She's a mountain.
So we were walking down the Santa Monica Pier with it was Jake Shields, me and Theo, and we saw her, and we took a picture with her, and this chick was like, I'm like 6'1", and this chick was like towering above me.
She's tall too, huh? Oh my God, what a monster.
She's like 225.
But she's like jacked.
She's ripped as shit.
Yeah.
So you should listen to that episode. It's really good.
No, I'm about to check that out because I'm always interested in that stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's something I talk about so much.
So this is what I was talking about. California leading the charge. So do you know that there's schools they're implementing into their like curriculum, teaching them about having no gender and gender equality, not equality, obviously, having no gender and like being binary, and having the right to choose what gender you want to be. Like, can you imagine having your son listen to his or her teacher saying that they have the right to choose their gender with the kid having a fucking dick? And then him coming home to you and saying, Daddy, can I be a girl when I grow up? Just because like he's been influenced by his teacher with this fucking garbage. I
definitely do think there's something to it. And I've had these conversations with people that, like you said, that share opposite opinions about it. And I definitely think there's something to the idea of like really anything that you would go to teach someone, especially a younger person, and basically just like, especially considering that your brain's not developed and, you're not really making, we've all been in 8th grade before. We all know like the kind of decisions that we made when we were in 8th grade. And I think the repercussions of kind of making that like a more normal thing, for someone who's for just everybody, is going to lead more and more people down paths that they probably wouldn't have gone down.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
could potentially be something that ruins their life that they regret forever.
100%.
So
when you're a kid, you don't
worry about.
Your brain isn't developed. You don't think rationally. You're highly influenced. You can't really teach that to a kid or say that to a kid.
Part of being a kid and growing up is just figuring shit out, because you're lost and confused, and That's part of it. You shouldn't be led in one way or another based on the current trends, because that's all this is. This is a blip in the radar of the human race. Like this has never been an option before.
Yeah.
Garry,
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying, Chris. It's like, all right, so I'm a kid, I'm struggling, I'm having a tough time, this, that, and the other thing, and I'm trying to find my way. And then somebody has a talk with me, or I'm experiencing whatever, information about, transgenderism or whatever the case may be, and I go, oh, maybe that's why I'm not doing okay.
That's why I'm awkward, or I'm an outcast. Totally.
Don't you think
This
that
is why
should be
sports are
like
great.
that should be kind of like optional? Maybe like speaking to a guidance counselor or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think that should be a curriculum thing. I think,
Right.
Like you said, that should be something especially
Maybe the guidance counselors should be trained to give them that speech if they actually go seeking for it, but not like out of the blue. Like, okay, this is mandatory now.
Yeah.
I don't know. How do you guys feel if you
I can
had
understand
kids?
on some level of education about it, especially considering that there may or may not be children that are going to be in their classes or whatever the case may be that may choose to do something like that, so that they can understand kind of what's going on, as opposed to just being like, yo, Sally's a fucking weirdo, I get that. I get it from that perspective. But it's definitely like kind of a delicate thing for sure. So
You're
like,
saying
let's
that
say
Sally wouldn't be a weirdo if she
One of our-
heard that.
no. I'm saying one of their classmates is transgender, right?
Okay.
So, but they don't know how to deal with that information. So they basically just
Okay.
bully and make the person feel like a piece of shit, right? So what I'm saying is that I can see from that perspective how, somebody might need to be educated to understand the situation, so that sort of thing doesn't happen within a school. Like I could totally get that aspect of it. As just like a general mandate, it seems kind of odd, especially considering the fact that the likelihood that that's even going to take place, that you're going to have somebody that's transgender in your class, is probably relatively low. But I mean, if it was happening, I could see a need for some level of education there, so that it wasn't, it didn't completely ostracize another child that's involved in the school or whatever the case may be.
Don't you think that maybe that's something for them when they're a little bit older, though?
Well, what if it's happening
Maybe
right
like
now?
high school. Maybe like high school.
Maybe, but like, what if it's happening right now? Like, what if you had somebody that was at that age that was doing that? I don't know.
You're saying that was having like confusion inside? That was confused?
Not just having confusion. I'm saying like is actually already made the decision that like, hey, I'm going to be wearing female clothes and I'm going to, start transitioning at some point or whatever the case may be, especially in society now where it's more than likely that they've already heard and discussed this information. Kids are making these decisions younger and younger. So, I mean, it very well could be already a situation where they're in 8th grade and a kid is doing that.
Well, 8th grade is that's middle school. I think the
I thought you said
curriculum
middle
is.
school. Did you say elementary school?
Yeah, maybe it's elementary.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm pretty sure it's
elementary school doesn't really seem like it would be necessary. It seems like a highly unlikely situation that at an elementary level, unless like ideas were being filled in a kid's head super early, that's something that they should be doing. It seems
hormones haven't even really started then at that point. In elementary school, like there
Right.
hasn't been that grand divide between males and females yet. The hormones haven't kicked in. Like, so that's such a strange thing to bring up.
Yeah, I definitely think that's just something that like should be occurring more naturally, as opposed to me just, hey, you could be a gender you want, and it's like that definitely sends you down a little bit of a confusing path when you don't really understand the conversation.
Okay, so listen
It's
to
almost
this.
like something that I would only bring up if a child was already having like thoughts about that kind of thing.
So they're saying that in kindergarten,
What about it?
California wants to teach
kindergarten.
children in kindergarten about gender identity.
It seems a little aggressive to me. It just
That's what I mean.
it would be like saying like, so let me explain. So what I mean by that. So it would be like saying like, all right, we need to have sex education in kindergarten. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's a problem that they're going to face at some point, and it's a discussion that needs to be had, but it doesn't need to be had in kindergarten is the question.
Yeah.
All right,
That's what I think.
children, we're gonna learn how to use condoms today.
Yeah, exactly. It might be a little early.
It might be early to give the option. That's not.
Yeah.
It's
I don't know.
hold off.
I don't know. I haven't really read literature on it to know for sure,
Right.
but that's yeah.
All right. So on that note,
All
I
right.
need some coffee. I haven't even had a coffee yet.
and you guys can go fuck off.
I
I might go
will-
back to bed.
Go
morning.
about your stupid days.
All right.
Wow, that was
do you-
aggressive.
What are you doing, Gary? Are you gonna go
I'm
train?
Go train, man. Yeah, I gotta leave soon.
I really like that DM that you sent us, Gary.
Did you enjoy that?
Yeah,
Oh, that was good. That was good.
pretty good.
That was very good.
It's an inside joke, people. You guys aren't privy to it.
But we will say it did have to do with eating of ass,
Lots and lots of it.
which I think is the majority of our DMs have to do with that topic.
Yeah, something
Actually.
like that.
Pretty much all of them.
All right, guys.
I
Peace.
All right.
move
Later, guys.
For no man, no man, no man, no man, no
We'll call it a draw.
no man.
Just a flesh wound. Just a flesh wound. Just a flesh wound. Just a flesh